Happy birthday, Jamie.
Thank you very much.
That was your big 5-0?
Yes,
That
it
was the big
Happy birthday.
5-0. 1975, babies. Mm-hmm. And never seen Star Wars. It's pathetic. Should we
Should
we
talk
get
about
started?
Sherri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're 18 minutes in.
Oh, Lord almighty.
Well, I'm going to edit a lot of this out. So we're going to talk about the greatest kidnapping in the history of the United States.
Yes. The greatest storyteller of all time.
My God.
Speaking of never-ending story.
Yes.
It's the never-ending
The
story.
never-ending story. And it's still going on because you still catch her on podcasts, and she is still full of shit.
Double down, triple down, quadruple down. Who are we talking about? You want to describe her?
Sherri Papini. So, describe her as in she's a petite gal who had a boob job.
Well, okay, that's characteristics that you're...
Yep.
Yeah.
So now that's the positive. So now we'll get into the negatives. And maybe we can give a little bit of how this kind of went down, which took place in 2016. In the kidnapping or the disappearance of Sherri Papini. So her husband, whose name is Keith. So he comes home and comes home from work, and Sherri's not home. And so he kind of freaks out because that was unusual. So he calls the daycare where his kids are at, thinking that maybe Sherri picked the kids up, and she had not. So now he's really freaking out. Mm-hmm. So, and to kind of speed this up a little bit, so he has the, what's it, Find My Phone app? Is that what's on?
Yeah,
on
I think
iPhones?
that's exactly what he used.
Locates a phone. So he actually, what I didn't know until later on is he actually found the phone. It wasn't law enforcement that found the phone. So he finds the phone, calls law enforcement. Law enforcement starts their investigation, and nobody can find Sherri. And see, she's missing for like 20 some days, like 21, 22 days. And the day before Thanksgiving, she shows up on the side of a highway. A truck driver calls her in, says, "Hey, I found this gal, and her name is Sherri Papini." And that's kind of the start of the story.
Yep. Yeah.
And a story it is.
Oh, yes.
A great story. So Sherri claims she was kidnapped by 2 Mexican women. Mm-hmm. And she describes the Mexican women as one being younger, one being older, one being the younger one being smaller, the older Hispanic gal being heavyset. And she's on this jog, and they drive by, and I don't know if they say they need help with something. I think that's kind of how it went down. And so she approaches the vehicle. They open the door. One of them has a gun. So I don't remember if she said she tossed her phone or set her phone down. And
There's several different versions of what she
it's
said.
whatever you can believe. And so, yeah, they throw a bag over her head and throw her in the back of the vehicle. I think it was an SUV is how she described it. And they drive for however far, and she's kept captive, and they tie her up, and they're beating her, and they're going to sell her off. So it's, a sex trafficking thing or a trafficking thing of some sort.
Yeah.
And she won't talk to police, actually, when she first shows up, because she also, I think, talks about how they say that the police are somehow involved. So she won't talk to the police, so she'll give a statement to her husband. So they give the recorder to her husband. He asks the questions that they want asked, and she talks to the husband while she's being examined, of course, after she's picked up, which she has lost a lot of weight. She's got bruising. She has a brand on her back. Her hair's been cut. And she does look like a mess. I mean, that's probably the only fact is she looks awful.
Right.
So, in a nutshell,
she looks believable.
she looks believable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the beginning.
until she starts talking.
So, yeah. So, and this goes on. So this was in 2016. And
I just watched it today, the actual police interview, and it said August of 2020.
is when I think she was brought in. Is that when she was brought in by the FBI after the FBI kind of found out what really happened?
Yeah, because they had all the information, and that's when they were saying, nope, okay, here's what happened. We found out you called your ex-boyfriend, you were using burner phones, you arranged for him to pick you up, you asked him to cause these wounds to you, you asked him to go to Hobby Lobby, you asked him to buy the branding tool, you asked him to do all this stuff, and he played along with it. We know everything. It said August of 2020.
And what led the FBI to the boyfriend? He left something behind. His semen. Whoops. Who would have thunk? Mm-hmm. So they found DNA on, it was a sweatpants and her underwear. The one thing that I thought was weird, so, I mean, there was DNA analysis back in 2016, but I think at that time, I think you would submit DNA, and if there was no matches, they had nowhere to go. And I think later on, they developed the technology to where they could use DNA, and somebody's mowing. Who mows this late?
Your neighbor.
Well, whatever. So anyways, they developed DNA tracing that I think traces back through genetics.
Yeah.
And then they used the genetics to track down that the DNA had a genetic connection with somebody that she used to date. So that's when they find the boyfriend. And they go talk to him, and he kind of spills the beans.
Mm-hmm. Well, in his defense, he doesn't want to get in trouble.
No. And so I'm going to be honest. I actually think everybody probably lied a little bit, but one person lied a lot of bit.
Right.
So do I think that they have the 100% true story? No. But I do think that she is completely full of shit.
Oh, yeah. I think, you would think once she goes to jail, they catch her, they have all this evidence against her, she pleads guilty, she goes to jail, you think that would be done and over. But no. Why do you think she continues with this story? Which is now a different version of the story because, she had to admit that, okay, yes, James did kidnap me.
That's what she says now.
But it's not, it wasn't, I didn't consent to it. He actually kidnapped me against my will and did all of this stuff against my will. Why do you think she goes on with that story?
I don't have a good answer there. But James is the ex-boyfriend. Her actual husband's name is Keith. His name will probably come up later. But we should probably maybe discuss what James told the police.
Sure.
So, you want me to tell it or you want to tell it?
Well, as far as I know, of course, maybe you're going to say something different, but as far as I know, they used to date. Him and Sherri used to date way back when. They reconnected, and I don't know if it was over Facebook or how they reconnected. Did you get that detail?
We'll be right back.
Not only are many trying to remove us from our constitutionally limited Judeo-Christian ethos republic, more seem to be forgetting our Judeo-Christian Christitutionalist foundations. Not here at Christitutionalist, we talk about all these things. The past, the present, the future. Biblical community, Judeo-Christian ethos, the whole Bible, biblical community, not worldly communism. And there is a big difference. Join us, Christitutionalists.
I can't be 100% certain. I do know that they had conversations early on over their actual cell phones.
Right. And then they got burner phones.
And I think one detail that should be brought up is in her original phone, he was listed as a female.
Yes. And the reason that is because her husband had a post-nup written up.
Because?
She had a history of cheating.
What? Weird. A history of being full of shit.
Right. And seeking out and having an affair, whether it was a full-blown affair, physical affair, or an emotional affair. But she was talking to other males. And she had a habit of hiding their names in her phone under a female alias. And, you know, I think Keith ultimately knew her history. And he's like, okay, well, you're signing a post-nup. If you cheat on me, you don't get shit from me. Which I don't think she had a job. I think she was just a stay-at-home mom. Is that right?
At that time, early on, she worked for AT&T. I can't remember what she did for AT&T, but I know she worked for, it was AT&T or a telecommunications company.
Okay.
But, so the FBI finds this boyfriend, and they ask him what happened. And he discusses how early on, you know, they'd reconnected somehow. They initially were talking through their normal cell phones, and then Sherri decided that maybe they should get some burner phones. So they get, prepaid phones. I think you can just get them at Walmart or wherever. And so they continued their phone or their conversations on this second set of phones, which, you know, just even that. I've never had a second phone. I mean, I have a whole drawer full of phones, but they're my old phones. But I don't know. I don't know why I find that funny, but so they have conversations over the next, I don't know if it's months or if it's a year or how long exactly it is, but so they have this continued communication, probably flirtatious the way it sounds. And she talks about how she's in this abusive marriage, which might come as a shock to some people, but apparently she has a history of telling people that the relationship that she's currently in is abusive. Mm-hmm. So, and that information is gathered, I think, actually early on in the investigation when they're talking to friends and exes, because they did early on in their investigation, they talked to some ex-boyfriends and they talked to some friends. And the friends, early in the investigation, had said that she likes to embellish and she likes to make statements that whatever relationship she's in is abusive at the time.
Well, yeah, it's to garner sympathy.
Sure.
And attention.
And a lot of times it's from other males.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess to me, is weird.
Well, again, I think it goes with this, whatever she's got, this personality disorder or whatever this is that she has. I mean, because she has a history of doing things for attention. You know, there's a police report that her mom made. She called the police on Sherri. They got into this fight, and Sherri started injuring herself in their kitchen and started yelling out, "I'm going to tell the cops you're hurting me, you're beating me," and all of this fake BS, you know. And so the mom and ultimately had to call the police and have them come because she says, well, I don't want to get accused of beating my child, so I have to make a police report so that they can help me control her and tell me what to do, and also put on the record that I didn't do any of this to her. So she definitely has a history of just, I don't know, some behaviors, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but.
So the boyfriend says that ultimately she came up with this plan. Mm-hmm. And the plan was that he was going to pick her up and then take her back to his place to escape this abusive relationship, which, according to him, is exactly what happened. he meets up with her while she's out on the jog. She jumps in his vehicle, travels to wherever he lives, which I think is probably an hour, 2 hours away. It's a distance. And pretty early on after she shows up, she cuts her hair while he's at work, because he continues to go to work and she's staying at the house apparently.
Yeah.
And after I think a couple of days of her being there, she wanted the windows boarded up so people couldn't see her in the house. So the bedroom that she's staying in, according to him, he boards those windows up so people can't see in. And she picks the bedroom. He sleeps on the couch. And according to him, the relationship at this time, and while that she stayed with him, wasn't even a sexual relationship. It was more of a friendship, and he was helping her get away from a abusive relationship. Mm-hmm. But then she asked him to, punch her, hit her, things like that, which he says that he wasn't going to do. I think the only thing that he admitted that he did was he hit a hockey puck at her, which, goddamn, that would hurt.
And the branding.
And the branding. And I was just going to get to that. So then she tells him, hey, go to Hobby Lobby. And this is the crazy part to me, because everybody has probably done something to themselves. I remember back in the day, we used to take a needle and push it through an eraser and sit there and bang it on our arms. Did you ever do that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, me neither. But, stupid shit like that, or the whole eraser thing where you would rub an eraser on the back of your hand. And we did some dumb shit. But I've never had anybody go buy basically what amounts to like a soldering iron that takes these like letter attachments that you would typically use to burn letters into wood. Sends them to Hobby Lobby to get this thing. And then he brands something. I think at one time, maybe during the documentary, they mentioned what it is, but
yeah, I rewatched something that said it was the word Exodus.
But you can't read the actual numbers for the verse.
No.
I was trying to find it to see what the verse was.
And supposedly it's biblical, but the police couldn't find any correlation of anything Exodus. You know what I think Exodus means?
do you know what? Go ahead.
I think in her mind, Exodus is her exit. Like mass exodus. It's her exit.
Now,
Liberation from slavery.
Yeah. So Exodus is when the Jews escaped the Egyptians. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
I think that's all that means. I think that's her.
And I don't know which one was. Oh my God, my biblical history is.
It's the Israelites.
It's the Israelites.
Yeah.
So they escaped the Egyptians, and that's when. Holy crap! Man, I was supposed to be a one-time Catholic. Went up on a Mount Vernon.
Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai, Vernon.
We don't know where this is going.
Mount Vernon is where George Washington
Oh,
lived.
yeah. Well, it's close. It's close. George Washington.
I think we should skip this part of the story.
All right. Okay.
And the
Bible
Ten
time.
Commandments.
Yes.
Yes.
So, anyways, Exodus. So I was really close.
You were so close.
So close. Yet so far away.
All of my dreams of teaching Bible school have just been,
Or geography.
or history in general.
Where'd you graduate from?
Palmer.
Hey, hey.
No.
Oh, that's right.
Don't-
You didn't remember.
Don't
No.
put that evil on us, Ricky Bobby.
God. All right. We better get back on track. My credibility is shot. So anyways,
Okay.
so Exodus. So that's supposedly what's tattooed on her back.
Yeah,
or burned into
I
her
think
back.
it was just her nickname for how she escapes her
But
life.
supposedly she burned herself, and I don't know if she used cigarettes or whatever, but burned her arms. And he said that she purposely banged her head on the bathroom floor and on the bathtub itself, because when she was found, of course, she did have that branding on her back, and she had bruises all over, and her hair was cut. But anyways, according to the boyfriend, that was all Sherri. And a lot of that bruising, according to him, actually took place, just days before she had him drop her back off
Yeah.
next to the highway where she was ultimately found. But that's the boyfriend story. Was there more?
No, that's all. The first few days she was just hanging out,
Sure.
in
all
watching
of this,
TV.
Yeah. And so
or watching her phone.
everything pretty much that we've said so far, you can pick up in a documentary.
Yep.
But I did find a few more details. In this detail, the details that I found came from the FBI's report, because she was ultimately confronted by the FBI, of course, in 2020 after they
22.
Was it 22?
She was arrested in 22.
Okay. So, but I think it was, if she was arrested in 22, that's probably when the FBI.
She was arrested by the FBI March 3rd of 2022.
Okay. And the kidnapping was in 2016, mind you.
Yeah.
So this is several years later. Mm-hmm. So I get a hold of this FBI report, and there was a couple of things in there that I never saw in the documentary at all. One is there were witnesses that saw her at James's house, and those witnesses were cousins.
Yep.
One cousin who lived directly across the street actually saw her in the window.
Cousins of her or James?
Of James.
Okay.
And so something else is James had actually told the FBI that his family members, like his cousins and his mom, knew that she was at the
there.
house.
Yeah.
Because he told her.
Yeah.
He told them.
And they were under the assumption that he was helping her escape this abusive
Sure.
marriage and this abusive husband. And it was like a sleeping with the enemy type of situation.
Now, the one thing I did find odd that James also said was he had also told his cousins and people not to visit while she was there. Now, I don't know if it's because that if the excuse was she didn't trust that people would keep their mouths shut, that that's where she was hiding out. But anyways, that's what he told the cousins. Hey, while she's here, just stay away. But one of the cousins actually observed her from across the street in one of the windows. And when she realized that she was seen, she ducked away.
And that's probably when she wanted the windows boarded up.
Yes. Could have been. I don't remember that exact detail. I know that the windows were boarded up. And then on another occasion, and it might have been the same cousin, forgets all about that he's not supposed to visit. He comes in through the back door of James's house, and she's in the living room. And when she sees the cousin, she bolts off and hides in, I think, the bedroom or the bathroom or something to that effect. So, and that's according, because the FBI did go talk to these people. They're not just going to take James's word for it. They're going to corroborate his story with what the cousins have to say, which they did corroborate the story. They also corroborated some of the details that she originally provided about the two Hispanic ladies with like what the bedroom was like, some of the details in the bedroom. Like she was chained to what she described, I think, as a pole, which was actually like a ready rod.
It was like a rebar or whatever you want to call that.
And if anybody knows anything about ready rod, the stuff is weak. So had she actually been chained up to ready rod, it doesn't take much of a pull to break that shit. So anyways, so all of that pretty much matched. There was another detail that I thought was really interesting that I had never heard anywhere until actually today when I was reading the tail end of this FBI report. When she's even in interviews today, one of the questions they always ask is, so have you spoken to James since he dropped you off? And she says, nope, no contact. Well, the FBI disagrees.
Right.
She contacted him several times after the FBI interviewed her, not only from, I think, her phone, but also from her parents' phone. So if she was so because what she's alleging now is she was terrified of James. That's why she lied, made up the names, because she was scared of him, and if she ratted him out, that he would maybe come find her or would do something to her or her family. Well, if that's the case, then why, after the FBI talks to you, do you try and call him?
Exactly.
I suppose to say or ask, what the hell did you tell him?
Let's get our story straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the thing is, I truly feel like her type of personality can't just let it go. She can't have this persona about herself. And here is her ex-husband who's coming out with this documentary and has his version of what happened and is now claiming that she's abusing her children. And so I just think she just can't let it lie. So now then she comes out with her own documentary with her version and her side with this brand new story that he actually kidnapped her against her will.
She has a book.
Which I will not spend my money on to buy.
No.
It's on Amazon.
Is it?
Yeah.
I hope it's cheap.
It was like $20.
I know.
No.
So something else that got her into trouble is anytime you're a victim, like a real victim, there's advocacy groups that where you can collect money from. Well, they'll I don't know if they'll help with medical bills or what the money's supposedly for. Plus, there was also a GoFundMe page, which she collected thousands of dollars from. And they used that money to pay off like credit card bills and shit like that. So once the FBI determined that she's completely full of shit and she fabricated the whole story, she has to pay that back as well.
Yeah.
But and there was some law enforcement that was suspicious, just to back up to the beginning, because when they found her phone, you would think if you're kidnapped and let's say you threw your phone or you dropped your phone and her earbuds were connected to the phone, not wireless earbuds, wired earbuds, that everything would be kind of strewn about. Oh, no. So her earbud cord and earbuds were actually kind of coiled up on top of her phone.
Yeah.
With some hair in there too.
Which is why I said at the beginning is there's several different versions, because in one version of her story, she stooped down and laid her phone down and piled her earbuds on top.
With her hair.
And in one version, as she was taking out her earbuds, she accidentally pulled her hair. In another version, she purposely pulled her hair. In another version, she threw her phone and they just happened to land like that. Like, there are so many different versions of what she did that already it's like, all right, lady, from get-go, you're just full of it, because even just the whole very first clue is a lie. You know?
Yeah, she is completely incapable of telling the truth.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many receipts. You know, he rented a car to go pick her up. There's receipts of the car rental. He showed them exactly where in Hobby Lobby where he purchased the wood soldering tool. All of this stuff. Like, she had him go to TJ Maxx and buy her sweatpants and clothes, and so he went and did that for her. It's just...
He actually wanted to keep that iron, I guess.
Because
he thought that maybe
he would use it.
Hey, I could use this.
Yeah.
And she said, no, throw it out. So
there was actually, and when the police went to his apartment, there was actually a picture of her on his refrigerator, of her sitting in a beanbag chair in the living room.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So it's like, I said, she was sitting there just chilling, you know?
Oh,
and then, so she had said something in one of the documentaries that it brought my attention to kind of the whole meaning behind it is, she at one point said, you were supposed to find me and you didn't find me, to her husband.
Yeah,
like, you were supposed to find me. And when it had gone 3 weeks and they hadn't found her, it's like he wasn't a good enough husband because he didn't find her.
She did too good of a job.
And
God.
it upset her because, you know, she was this prince, this damsel in distress, this princess in this castle, and supposed to be found by the prince, and he didn't.
But wanted to escape.
I mean, she wanted attention, and I think ultimately, I don't think she wanted to escape at all. I think that was her story. I think she wanted attention. She wasn't getting it at home. Yes, she had been having this whatever emotional affair, which she has already had history of doing this with others in the past. But another thing that triggered her that day, which I think made it go time, she texted him in the morning. Her husband, she texted him and said, "You want to come home for lunch and we'll have a little afternoon delight?" And he said, "No, I ain't got time for that." And it pissed her off. And I think then she called up Jane and she said, "Yep, today's the day. Let's go." Honestly.
It's way more probable than the story that she gives. And the bad thing is now you can't, I mean, even if she wanted to tell the truth, even if she was telling the truth on anything from here going forward, no one's going to believe a goddamn word she says.
Toothpaste is out of the tube. Nope.
Yeah. So God forbid someone does ever actually beat the shit out of her because no one's going to believe her.
No.
And something else, this has got to piss off every woman who has actually been abused.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, what a waste of resources by law enforcement, a waste of money and resources by advocacy groups and anybody that contributed money on a GoFundMe. You know, imagine if you were somebody who contributed money on that GoFundMe page just to find out she was full of shit. You know, would you want to contribute money to a
that makes you not want to contribute anything, because then in the back of your mind you're thinking, well, could this be all a bunch of BS? I mean, granted, if it's somebody I know, but...
I got to be honest, when I get calls now, and it's like my favorite one, someone will probably be mad about this, but from the Nebraska State Patrol Fund or whatever. And, I mean, I've got friends in the State Patrol, and I've talked to them, and they might be a legitimate group, but nobody I know in the State Patrol has ever gotten anything.
Yeah, what irritates me about that one is they hound on my 82-year-old mother with dementia. So, nope, I'm not giving to that one either. Because if you're going to prey on an old lady for your money, get a life. Sorry.
But that's one of the reasons I don't, there's probably groups or legitimate groups, but because of stuff like this, people just don't really want to contribute unless, like you said, it's maybe somebody you know.
Yeah.
Or you just know that, hey, my money is actually going to go for what I intended to go for, and it's not some bullshit cause like the fake kidnapping of Sherri Papini. God damn, what a wild story.
I know.
It just continues.
So, but until we did really dive into it, I watched her version of the documentary, and for a while there, I was like second guessing, like, is she? I mean, she's very believable until you really peel back the layers and watching her lies and watching her body language and her tendencies and some of her weird behavior. Then you're like, oh.
Oh man, yeah. The second documentary is my favorite.
Well, her story.
Yes.
Yeah. And I felt the same way. I'm like, okay, so was this somehow like she was saying to James, like, I need to get away, blah, blah, blah. And he took it too far. And then, but then the more you watch, and it's like, no, this was all her.
She has lied all of her life and
I think so.
gotten away with it enough of the time to make her think that she is buffaloing everybody.
Yeah. And, for the record, the husband, Keith, I think maybe at times he could be a jerk. However, I also think that because of some of the bullshit she pulled in the past.
He's not tolerant of it, and so he's going to appear as if he's an asshole because he's not putting up with it.
Yeah, he's like, this shit's happened before. She's full of shit.
It started from her early dating life. Like there was a story out there that some guy she dated who was a surfer, and she lied and said that she was this avid surfer and said how great she was at surfing. But then every time he would ask her to go, she'd have some excuse. Oh, I just got diagnosed with a new medical condition. I can't go. Or oh, this, that, or the other. It's just one of those. And and I've had a couple acquaintances that are like that. And initially you do believe their story because you want to think the best of people and that people don't typically lie to you. But then when they come up with something that is absolutely unbelievable, like, no, I know you didn't do that, and I can prove you didn't do that, or I can prove that's not the truth, but then double down or get pissed off at you because you are calling them out on it. Those are the people that just have no more credibility in my book, and I don't believe a word you say. And I may give them the benefit of the doubt and listen to what they're saying, but in the back of my mind, I'm like,
it's funny you say that because
trusting you or believing a word you say.
At least, I don't know if you listen to any podcast that Sherri Papini's on. Every once in a while, since I really dove into it, I still will listen to a newer podcast just to see what she's saying.
Oh, me
Even
too.
though she's full of shit, and I don't know why I do it. If it's just to see if she says something different, but you just can't help, I guess.
Yeah,
listen.
she was
Even though
on.
I knew she's full of shit.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast serialously, which is very difficult to say, by the way. And then literally the next day I listened to the Nick Viall Files. She said the exact same thing verbatim, and the same wording, the same phrases. She said something like, it was with Keith Papini, it was annihilate or be annihilated. Well, who says that? And then to say it verbatim, word for word, exactly the same on both podcasts. The whole thing was scripted, and then it's like, okay, now I really don't believe you because you can't even come up with a new verbiage of what your story is on anything. Nothing is genuine.
She says culpability a lot.
Yes.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's those type of things where, she thinks she's sounding really intelligent. And she does have some sort of intelligence to get away with things as long as she has, but doing that scripted and saying it over and over just makes it sound, well, now you're full of shit because I think you're reading it or it was a playbook.
Something else that was funny when I was reading, and this was brought up actually in the documentary, but early in her life, she wrote like a MySpace blog. And she kind of hammered on the Hispanics a little bit.
She did. She must have had some Hispanic bullies in school or something that she's trying to get back at.
And then she said that, somebody probably stole her ID and wrote that.
Yeah.
She didn't write it. Uh-huh. But what was really funny is the story goes in her MySpace deal is she was attacked by these Hispanic females and they would try and beat her up, but she was just whipping their ass. And it took like 2 or 3 guys to pull her off of these Hispanic ladies. And if that wasn't bad enough, then she went to brag about how, how good the skinheads were.
That's when I read that. I'm like, where does the skinheads come into play?
Because they have so much pride in their whiteness. that's what she brought up. And I'm reading that in the FBI report. And I'm like, holy shit.
It's just, yeah.
Wow.
And she had a history of also doing self-harm
Oh, yeah.
to draw attention to herself. So, because one would think, how could you slam your head into the bathtub and cause such damage, or how could you burn yourself? But I think that was part of her. I mean, part of her sickness and her desire, and I mean, her commitment to what she was going to do.
I think what's hard to get past, and what people need to realize, is just because you wouldn't do it doesn't mean that other people won't. Because obviously there's people that do
Horrific things,
to themselves. I mean, there's people that like to cut themselves. If you really think about it, everybody probably knows at least one person at some time that's, whether it's been punch themselves in the face or something stupid where they've really probably done some sort of a harm to themselves. Cutting themselves is probably the most common. The people that cut themselves for attention, almost like they're like an attempted suicide, but it's obviously an injury that's,
That's not going to be fatal.
Yeah, not fatal, and they do it for attention. And I worked cases where a female did claim that she was sexually assaulted, and the dude was pretty close to going to jail.
Yikes.
And it actually wasn't even me that figured it out. It was a State Patrol investigator. It was a gal that, I don't remember if you were there, but we'd picked this female up who claimed that she was sexually assaulted and raped, and we took her to Grand Island to the hospital for the rape kit. And it was a State Patrol investigator that showed up that it turns out that she thought she was pregnant and she freaked out.
Oh.
Because I think she was young.
She didn't think she was pregnant. He ejaculated.
Oh,
she didn't have.
that's
There was no
right, that's
condom,
right. There
and
was
so
no
that's when
condom.
she freaked out.
And she freaked out, and so she was worried that she might get pregnant.
Yes.
And so when she told her parents that, of course, she
Claimed rape. Okay.
She claimed rape because she didn't want her parents to know that she had consented to sex. And that dude was pretty close to going to jail.
Wow.
But when that investigator, I don't know what the investigator said, it was a female investigator, got the truth out of her. I mean, we were all pissed. So like,
wow.
We wasted our entire flipping night for this. Holy shit. Yeah, man, and I'm sure every law enforcement officer's probably got a story just like that.
Sure.
But what do you do?
Well, hopefully nobody ever takes it as far as Sherri Papini. Like, that's just...
No, that was a wild one.
She definitely has some type of mental illness to go this far. And speaking of, what about her therapist?
Oh, yeah.
But, like, buying into it. I don't get that.
What about Keith's sister?
What? I know.
Did you see her?
Yes. What is come on.
Yeah.
First off, please, nobody go to her therapist because, for God's sake.
Oh, God, no. That dude is...
I think
That guy is
Keith's sister
whack.
had a thing for Sherri.
Ah. Interesting.
So, yeah. I thought that too. But, yeah.
Well, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I just, I didn't want to dive too much into that. Don't want to get sued.
I truly believe this could be a learned behavior too, because her mother, in that documentary, her mother was odd. Do you remember that?
Well, not only
her mom and her dad sitting on the love seat, and her mom just went on about, isn't she the most beautiful thing in the world? Isn't she so pretty? She's so beautiful.
And the dad.
And the dad was looking at her like,
Well, I think the dad was sitting there thinking, I don't know if I want to say anything because when these cameras leave, she's going to kick the crap out of me.
So
That's kind of what.
I think.
Yeah,
truly.
He had to have approval before he could talk.
To me, it looked like he was sitting there just kind of in his chair with his arms straight down in his lap, like, I'm not going to look at her. I'm not going to say anything.
I think she was groomed in a sense that she was made to think that she was special. Sherri
I think so. Was she I think she was an only child.
No,
she wasn't.
No, she had a sister. No, her and her sister don't get along.
Oh, weird.
Because her sister called the cops on her.
Neither does Keith and his sister.
Yeah.
The one that took her in.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just truly. Yeah.
Well, and then I don't remember that they talked much more on her allegations of being sexually assaulted. Like, were there ever charges when she was young that were brought upon the family member that allegedly sexually assaulted her?
About that. So now you got to wonder, is that even true?
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. Totally forgot.
The mom kind of talked about it a bit, but not much. Just that.
Apparently, the dad walked in on it or something like that.
Oh, and he again was tight-lipped and was like,
what dad is going to walk in on their child being sexually assaulted and not murder the person?
Somebody. Yeah.
Or do something. I mean, I can see if you don't call the police, and you got no choice than to beat the shit out of the person. I mean, one of the two is going to happen. You're calling police, or somebody's getting hurt.
Unless he's the one that did it. But again, I don't want to feed into that because I don't think it was true. I think that was a story.
No, I tend not to. I really don't believe anything.
Anything she says, yeah.
I almost don't believe anything from anybody in the documentary, other than the one psychologist, the female psychologist, who always spoke. But I don't think that she actually saw Sherri. I think she kind of analyzed things based on what she saw her say, maybe through video or whatnot.
Yeah.
So she seemed, I mean, I could believe what she says, but her therapist, like Marissa had brought up, that dude is weird.
And the FBI agent, the female FBI agent, I would love to sit down with her.
Oh, yeah.
She did not take her shit from the get-go. Yeah.
Do you remember when we were watching that? We were sitting on the couch, and we were listening to the audio of the FBI agents at James's house asking him questions. And I looked at Marissa, and I said, those are leading questions. Like, they're basically giving him an out. And I did think that the line of questioning that they had for him was fucking terrible. And it was just a minute later in the documentary, I think that one of the producers must ask the FBI agent what she thought of the questions. And her answer was, well, that's not how I would have asked them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, for entertainment purposes, go watch yourself a couple Sherri Papini documentaries and take them with a grain of salt, because...
Well, they're entertaining.
Yeah.
There's something.
Yeah.
Or she's something.
She's something. I mean, I tell you. I don't know if we'll ever meet an individual like her.
No, I hope not. No. Well, that's all I got. You got?
Nope. This was a fun one, just because she's
well, it was just such
a very interesting character.
Oh, geez, to say the least.
Anyway.
Well, I guess.
All right. Till next time.
Next time.
Bye.
Later.
Let you wanna talk dirty. Don't talk back, let you wanna talk